Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are talking about the absolute fastest way to get your hands dirty with Amazon Bedrock. If you've ever just wanted to skip all the complex setup and jump right into coding with generative AI, well, this one's for you. We're talking about Bedrock API keys. Think of them as your direct ticket to start building like right now.
Okay, so let's set the scene, right? You're a developer. You've got this brilliant idea for a new AI app. And the very last thing you want is to get totally bogged down in some complex authentication maze before you can even make a single API call. You just want to start playing around. You want to start experimenting, and you want to do it fast.
And this is AWS's answer to that problem. A Bedrock API key is, simply put, a bearer token that just cuts through all the noise. It's a really straightforward way to prove who you are so you can get straight to the fun stuff, actually calling the models. And this comparison just nails the difference, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the standard, super robust IAM process. You're creating identities, attaching policies, generating credentials. It's powerful, for sure, but it's a multi-step thing. Now look at the right. Generate one Bedrock-specific key and make your call. Done. It's literally a fast pass that lets you skip the line. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with that fast pass. Then we'll look at the two flavors of keys, the easy visitor pass for when you're just exploring, and the secure contractor badge for when you're building for real. Then we'll get into how to manage them, and finally, how you can set the rules of the road for your entire team.
All right, let's kick things off with the absolute quickest way to get going. This is what's officially called a long-term key, but I want you to think of it as a visitor pass. It's designed to get you in the door immediately, no questions asked, so you can start looking around and exploring.
And getting this pass? It's incredibly simple. Seriously, it's just a few clicks inside the Bedrock console. You just go to API keys, pick the long-term option, decide how long you want it to last, maybe 30 days for a proof of concept, and bam, click Generate. That's it. You've got a key, and it's ready to use.
But, and this is a huge but, before you run off and start using this thing for everything, you have to see this direct warning from the AWS documentation. They are being crystal clear here. This visitor pass is for exploration only. When security really matters, when you're building a real application, you have to upgrade your credentials.
So, let's move on to the professional grade tool. This is the short-term key, and we're going to call this one the contractor badge. It's secure, it's temporary, and it is purpose-built for production environments where security is everything. Now, what I love about this slide is how clearly it lays out the trade-offs. The visitor pass is easy. It lasts a long time, which is awesome for a quick test, but, it's a higher risk if it gets compromised. The contractor badge, on the other hand, is short-lived, it inherits permissions, and it's the hands-down winner for security. No contest.
And these properties are exactly why it's the secure choice. Think about it. A key that expires in a few hours is just so much less of a liability than one that's floating around for a month. It automatically gets the permissions of whatever created it, and it's locked to a specific region. This is what we mean by security by design.
And hey, don't let short-term make you think it's hard to get. AWS provides these simple client libraries that do all the heavy lifting. In Python, it's literally just a pip install and a single function call. And what's cool is the library is smart enough to handle refreshing the token for you, so it's totally seamless for your application.
Okay, so we know how to create keys. Now let's talk about managing their lifecycle. Because let's be real, a key is going to get compromised eventually. It's not really a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and you need to have a plan for that moment.
For that long-term visitor pass, you've got three really clear options if it gets out into the wild. You can deactivate it, which immediately stops it from being used. You can reset it, which is like changing the password but keeping the username. Or you can just delete it entirely, which, that's the nuclear option. Deactivating is your immediate first response. It's a super simple process right in the console that just instantly cuts off the key's access. This gives you some breathing room to figure out what happened without having to just nuke the key right away. Now, for the contractor badge, that secure short-term key, the approach is totally different. Since the key is just temporary and gets its power from a session, you don't even manage the key itself. Instead, you go to the source. You invalidate the IAM session that created it. That effectively pulls the plug on that key and any others from that same session.
So up to now, we've mostly been talking about what individual developers can do. But what if you're an administrator, right? How do you enforce these best practices across your whole organization?
While the answer, as it so often is in AWS, is with IAM policies.
For example, what if you decide, you know what, nobody in our organization should ever use a long-term key in production? Well, you can enforce that with a policy like this one. It basically just says, deny anyone the ability to make a Bedrock call if the token they're using is a long-term one. It's a really powerful way to lock down your security posture. Or maybe you want to be a little more flexible. You can allow long-term keys, but only for a limited time. This policy does exactly that. It lets someone create a key, but only on the condition that its expiration is set to 90 days or less. This stops developers from creating these forever keys that just add to your long-term risk.
And hey, before we wrap this up, it's probably good to know that this isn't some niche experimental feature. Bedrock API keys are supported across a huge number of AWS regions all over the world, and they have first-class support in all the popular SDKs you'd expect, like Python, JavaScript, and Java.
So, let's bring this all home. Amazon Bedrock API keys aren't just one single tool. They're really a whole toolkit for balancing speed and security. You've got the Visitor Pass for super fast prototyping, and you've got the Secure Contractor Badge for production. It gives you both a fast on-ramp for innovation and a secure highway for your applications. Which really just leaves us with one final critical question. In your next project, how are you going to balance the two?